and welcome to the Power Gamer Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Dawson, joined as always by fellow host, Johnny Paulus. Johnny, happy birthday, you old fuck.
Thanks, man. Appreciate
How
it.
was your birthday celebrations? People may notice we're a day late here with the show. We decided to hold off for some birthday festivities for your boy. How was the birthday, man?
It was good. My wife made me something that I didn't know existed, a ricotta cheesecake.
Oh, yeah.
Strawberry topping, and it is absolutely insanely good.
That sounds good.
It's one of the best cheesecakes I've ever had. And I just had good quality time with the fam.
Nice. Kind of kept it low-key.
Kept it low-key, yeah.
Yeah, kept it low-key.
Kept it low-key.
Kept it low-key.
But
That's
yeah,
awesome.
no, the cheesecake was dope. The family time was good. And we're going camping next weekend.
Ooh. So let's see. Next weekend. When are you going camping?
The weekend of the 31st.
Weekend of the 31st. So next weekend.
Correct. Not this coming weekend, the following weekend.
I thought you had wiggled your way out of this get together on Sunday.
No.
somehow.
No. I will be there for the guitar hangout.
I see. Well,
I
good.
will be bringing the Veta out of retirement.
I will, as with the last one, I will be there briefly.
Got it.
Because I have actual guitar playing to go do.
Fair enough.
Which is all that I've been up to this past week. That's right. The musical that I mentioned is in full swing. We're running rehearsals every single night from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. until the shows, which I think I'm basically there from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. over the weekends.
Yep.
So I don't get a breather until Monday. So
then,
we might be a day late again next week. Who knows? Because I think after I'm done with this production, I'm probably going straight to a bar.
That sounds fair. Yeah.
Sounds like a good idea. Sounds like a needed idea.
That sounds fair. And we have some more exciting music news to share as well.
Yeah, this one's more you than me, even though I'll be laying down some fat bass lines for you. But what do you have going on, Johnny?
There's an Annapolis Music Fest happening June 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. And I will be performing on the local stage. If I understand the timing right, I believe we're opening for live. Like, it's literally us, and then when we're done, live plays. So, arguably the biggest band on the whole bill out of all 3 days.
Yes.
Everyone that's planning on going to that thing will be there when we're performing. And that's terrifying. I don't know where the second stage is in relation to the main stage.
I do.
You do?
Yes. So when you come into the fairgrounds, on the left is the main stage.
Okay.
And then in the field that's to the right, at the bottom of the hill that leads up, that's where the stage is.
So it's a good distance away.
It's a little distance away. So
okay,
one would have to cross the field and the little sidewalk and then go over into the main stage area.
Got it.
But no, I've watched plenty of bands play on that stage over the years, and that's a good spot because you're by all the food trucks, you're by all the alcohol. There's a big grassy hill where people come and sit. So
Perfect.
It'll be packed where we're playing. You're probably going to have 200-300 heads in front of you, minimum.
Hell yeah.
So it should be a good one.
Yeah. So June 2nd, if anyone's local in the Maryland, DC, Virginia area, you can buy tickets and see. Let's see. The day that we're playing is Filter, Collective Soul, and Live.
Filter being one of my all-time favorite bands.
Yeah, I love Filter.
Yeah. Yeah, their newer stuff's awesome. A lot of people sleep on it. It's really good.
I'm excited to see Filter, yeah.
Indeed. So, yeah, just more and more opportunities for playing music popping up on old Mike Dawson. I kind of got back out playing bass again, and within a few months, it's like I'm just getting bombarded with stuff to do. This probably
everyone needs a bass player.
everyone does seem to need a bass player.
Yeah, everyone needs a bass player.
Yes, I'll be curious to see too. We've got a rather good cast of musicians for this.
Yeah,
and yourself, Steve, Josh, and myself. I've been banging this drum, so to speak, that, man, wouldn't it be great if we could get that cover band money at some point? Sure would be nice.
Yep, that lineup could handle that in a heartbeat.
Very much so. So
yep.
I'll be pitching that idea once everyone's together for presumably a rehearsal or two.
Yep.
Beforehand.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
Oh, I'm so beat from holding this boat anchor of a bass. For 12 hours over the past 3 days around my neck. The LTD Surveyor, aka the ESP Surveyor, is an awesome bass.
Yeah.
It's got an iconic sound from such bands as Queen used one. But goddamn, the thing's a fucking boat anchor. Probably why it sounds so good is because it's a heavy fucking bass. But I even pulled out all 4 of my basses and was like, is this really the best sounding one today? And like, it's not even close. It's the best sounding one. So I'm like, God damn it, I have to use it.
When's your new one coming? I know you ordered a new bass.
Sometime this week, I think.
Cool.
But I don't know if that's going to be the right one for what I'm doing either.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't think so.
Because in part, when you're playing a musical, for those that have never been in a musical, the attire for a musician is all black. And it's in part why I buy black bass guitars normally. But this new one I'm getting is bright purple. Surveyor is black pick guard, black hardware. It's black on black on black with an ebony fretboard.
Yeah.
It doesn't get any blacker than that. So it's like the perfect I'm playing in a musical bass guitar.
It's like a Spinal Tap, none more black.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got big bottom, too.
Indeed.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in. This is episode 109 of your Power Gamer podcast. We still don't know what the fuck's going on with you people, but we appreciate you because you seem to keep turning up in force to listen to Johnny Paulus speak.
It's not just me.
You keep. I know you're all big Johnny Paulus fans, and that's why you.
Is that what it is? That's what it is.
Well, you are the show, sir. I mean, let's be real here. I just frame it out and slow pitch ideas to you, but it's Johnny Paulus knocking things out of the park that people come from.
You throw chunks of meat at the junkyard dog is what's going on.
Basically.
Go get that.
And I guess on that note, we have some things to touch on from last week because no doubt you come to hear Johnny Paulus and his insightful outlooks on many of the topics happening in the world. But you also come for his incredibly hot and emotional takes on the games that he has been playing.
Mm-hmm.
And we spent quite a lot of time last week discussing a little game called Chained Echoes.
Yep.
Now, in that discussion, I'll just be upfront. I have not had any time to fucking touch this game.
It's fine. I can already correct my statement from the previous week.
Johnny, take it away with what we've been playing this week.
Sure. Matthias Linda, I owe you an apology. I shit all over your game last week because I was really, really, really frustrated with it. Once I figured out what was holding me back and I powered through, I'm very happy to say that this game is a fucking masterpiece. This game is easily going to be a 9+ out of 10. It is fucking wonderful. For anyone that tries playing this game, it is on Game Pass. And if you get stuck in the same area in a similar fashion that I got stuck and was like Alt F4ing this game and saying, fuck this game, The one thing Matthias could do to this game that would have helped me out would be hidden within the menu, right? You pause and you go to journal, and then you go to reward board. And there's like this grid, kind of similar to Final Fantasy Zodiac Age, where there's sort of a board, and as you do these different achievements, you get these different unlocks. And I did remember in the tutorial that it was showing me these things, but I didn't know that I'd unlocked them. So if they could just put a UI thing to where when you pause it, the journal has a red dot letting you know that you have a skill point there that you can go get. That would have solved all of my problems, because I was like farming monsters and leveling up and getting higher powered gems and upgrading my armor, and then going back to this same boss and getting absolutely fucking shit stomped. And then somebody in my Discord said, well, what about your reward board? Did you get all your reward board stuff? And I went, and it was like, Jesus Christ, here's like 5,000 gold, and here's a bunch of skill points, and I can actually like level up this ability and level up that ability and level up this ability. And then I went back to that same boss and killed on my second try. Since then, I haven't really had much problem with the game. It was really that one big red, multiple faces all over his body monster just completely destroyed me. And all I had to do was go to that reward board and get those things.
That monster did not completely destroy you. You sabotaged yourself.
Mm-hmm.
He had nothing to do with it, Johnny.
Yep.
He had nothing to do with it.
But no, I'm glad I powered through. I'm glad I kept pushing. I mean, and that's a token of a good game, because I've played many games that frustrate me, and I say fuck this game, and I really mean it, and I never go back and touch that game again. But there's something about this game. As mad as I was last week, I still would sit down at the computer and go, let me give it one more crack. There's got to be something I'm missing. I got to get through this. And now I'm like a good, I'd say 2/3 of the way through the game. Anyone that's seen the trailer has seen that at some point your characters get what's called sky armors. They're like giant mech suits. So I now have that. My team has an airship where I can travel around to different areas. Very similar to like old school Final Fantasy games. And yeah, the combat's great, the spells are great, the characters are great, the story's great, the music's great, the graphics are great. It's gonna be a mid-9, maybe higher. It's very, very, very good. It's one of the best games I've played in a very, very long time. So again, Matthias Linda, I'm sorry. I really doubt that you listened to the last episode, and I really doubt you hear this. But if you did, I apologize. I was wrong. Your game is amazing. And yeah, I'm probably going to beat it this week. I can't stop playing. Other game I've been playing, still have nothing but great things to say about Hogwarts Legacy. The story continues to grow. My room of requirement, which is sort of your little customized area that you're given, it's sort of the Animal Crossing portion of the game. I now have multiple zones. So I have like a field zone. I have like a beach zone. I can capture these beasts and bring them back, and then I can feed them and care for them, and I get magical items that I can then upgrade my armor. I have my different potting plants to get my different stuff to make potions. It's a really cool gameplay loop where do some quests. Okay, I'm full on stuff. Let me go vendor all my stuff, and then let me go hit my room of requirement, make some new potions. Because, like, you can buy the healing potions. You really don't loot that many. So you are kind of forced to, like, you need to plant some stuff. You need to make some potions. And you get in that habit really quickly. But I'm to the point now where I have all 4 of the spell slots filled. So when I hold the right trigger, I can press D-pad up, down, left, or right. And each one of those will give me 4 other spells. So I've got all kinds of, I can throw them up in the air and flip them and slam them down on the ground and pull them toward me and set them on fire and surround myself with a ring of fire and turn shit to ice. There's so many cool spells, and the combat is really, really great. I think this is going to be a game of the year contender. I know I said that last week. I'm still there. This game is really, really good, and anybody that's sleeping on it, that can get over the J.K. Rowling connection should probably get over the J.K. Rowling connection, because it's fucking awesome. So I mean, this whole week, it's been a lot of Chained Echoes, a little pinch of Hogwarts, and quite a bit of Marvel Snap.
I'm going to pick on you for a second here.
Hit me.
Because I'm glad, number one. I'm glad.
Okay.
That you figured out what you were doing wrong with that game.
I'm very glad as well.
I'm super happy about it. Because for damn well near close to 20 minutes last week, I had to deal with Johnny Paulus going, I've tried everything. No, Mike. No, Mike. And I know you, motherfucker. I know you.
Mm-hmm.
When you can't see the path to get to the roof and Ghostwire, fuck this game. This is the worst game ever. 0 out of 10, motherfucker. I know you.
I just need a breadcrumb every once in a while. That's all. I don't need you to hold my hand, but a little breadcrumb. Again, if Chained Echoes, when I hit the pause button, if it had just
no,
red dot.
No. Okay. Hear me out. That is an objective outlook, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that is an objective outlook someone can have when they haven't incinerated the game to ashes. Wrote
I
the fucking
twice.
publisher, the creator of the game on Twitter, telling him what a giant piece of shit he created from shit molecules on Twitter. Like, you are allowed to have the calm, rational take opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't get to after you fucking nuke the thing. All right? There's a point of no return. And you went way past that point.
I did.
Way past it. And I mean, even to the point where I would argue when it comes to your gaming habits that I might know you better than anybody else.
I would say that's probably fair, yeah.
And I'm sitting here telling you, I'm like, you're missing something that's probably, it's got to be right in front of your face. Like, it's either some game mechanic, it turned out it was just something in a menu.
Mm-hmm.
Johnny, I love you. Just calm down. Woosah. Remember Bad Boys?
Mm-hmm.
Martin, what does he say?
Dude, I haven't seen Bad Boys in 20 years.
Just woosah.
No, but dude, it was 3 days.
That
3
that
days.
only speaks. That doesn't speak to the game being bad, right? That just speaks to you being blind.
No, dude, it's hidden in a menu.
No one else had the problem. Like, you go.
I cannot be the only one that had this complaint. That's just not.
Oh,
possible.
I'm sure you can get on your Reddit and find someone else out there that had the issue. But the point I was trying to make last week, and I just kind of want to hammer home because you didn't give me the gratification of I told you so or you were right, so now I'm coming after you.
That's fine. I deserve it.
When you're looking at something and it's like the overwhelming majority of people have the exact opposite opinion of something than you do, right? At some point, you just got to step back and go, well, wait a second. I've got to have missed something.
Yeah, that was the first 2 days. There must be something that I'm missing.
I got it.
So again, just in general, am I right or am I wrong? When you have things that you've earned and can unlock them, it could be a challenge, it could be a level up, it could be a skill point you need to spend. The UI typically gives you some kind of indicator of like, hey, while you're in the menu, you should go here and check this out. Or maybe you load your save game and it says reward board unlocks available. Just something to go, what's that?
Sure.
But it's hidden on the journal screen. It's not even on like the main pause screen. It's like pause, journal, reward board. Oh shit, I have all this stuff here.
I'll investigate it.
And
I'm sure it's not the most obvious thing ever. Otherwise, you would have seen it when you hit the button.
That was my only suggestion to Matthias. I mean, even if I'm the only person that ever had this complaint, when somebody has earned a reward board,
but the way I hear
snack that they can go get, just put a red dot in the menu.
I hear what you're saying now, but what I also heard you say is that they showed you this and you forgot.
They showed it to you, but they didn't really. After they showed it to you, they didn't really make it a point to like let me know that I had those things.
I mean, you're 6 hours in when you got to this guy. So you just forgot is what I heard. And that's fine. But it's you know, they showed it to you. So, you know, if you forgot, that's cool. Like I ran into the same problem with Tunic because now Tunic by design was fucking obtuse in trying to hide just basic menu functions. Because like that was a gameplay mechanic in that steaming hot pile of dog shit. Was making the manual frustrating. That was a game mechanic for Tunic, which I still don't get why people fawn over that pile of absolute cat vomit. But that's what they showed it to you. So like, I get it. It's not obvious. Yes, understand. But you know, in the same breath, it's like, come on.
just a reminder or a nudge, and I wouldn't have hit that roadblock, and I wouldn't have been pissed off at the game for like 4 days.
I'm very glad you're back on track with it because
no, I'm loving it. It's great.
I was not liking the fuck this game into oblivion dialogue. So I'm glad we're off that.
He says after calling Tunic for the 80th time the biggest piece of shit ever.
I beat that game. I can call it whatever the fuck I want. The game is dog shit. It still is.
Well,
I'm like Steven Crowder at the college with the mug, and I've got the sign at the table, and it says, Tunic is dog shit. Change my mind. Change my mind. How is Tunic not dog shit? We can talk about it. We kind of got a light episode. How is Tunic not dog shit? It is dog shit. What was so great about Tunic?
I found a couple of the fights in Tunic extremely aggravating. The rest of the game I thought was fine. I enjoyed it.
You loved that they wrote the manual in a different language, and part of the gameplay loop was trying to figure out what the fucking manual said?
Yeah, that was a part of the fun. Is trying to figure out what the symbols mean, or the little scribble on that corner. I'm like, oh, that symbol means this. I saw that symbol somewhere. Where was that? That was a part of the fun. It's like trying to figure out this.
Tons.
Yeah, I again, there were two fights in the game.
To someone who just got done complaining about a menu being obtuse or a menu not disclosing the data that you needed to play the game, to then go back and say, well, this game that has the menu that doesn't disclose the data that you need to play it because it's part of the gameplay loop to fucking figure out the menu. This game's great.
Okay, but comparing those two examples, I mean, at the beginning of the game, you have everything that you need to beat the game. You don't need to go navigate
That's not
through
true.
a menu.
Not true at all. You cannot tell me that unless you are some golden fucking god that you could beat that game without leveling the absolute fuck up out of your character.
Oh, no, of course.
You don't have everything you need. You got to level them up.
Of course.
Well,
I'm not disagreeing with that.
Part of figuring out how to level up your character is figuring out the part of the manual that tells it to you in some nondescript characters.
Oh no, I'd been leveling up my character and my characters, and I'd been farming and grinding.
We're talking about
Tunic. My characters.
We're talking about Tunic. One character.
I'm talking
just the fox.
I'm talking about Chained Echoes.
I got you. Chained Echoes is fine, I'm sure. I'm talking about Tunic. Because Tunic, if you don't level up your fox, you are not getting anywhere in that game. No chance.
Yeah,
no chance.
No, yeah.
You're not even getting past the second boss.
I'm not arguing that point. I just I didn't think Tunic was a big pile of shit. I thought it was enjoyable. I liked it.
Ugh. Differing opinions. I know I'm in.
I know you fucking hated it, but you have to recognize that you are in the minority on this one.
Yeah, but I'm also right. So.
Oh, okay.
It's one of those. I'm right because it's my opinion and I'm allowed to have it. That's
you are allowed to have your opinion, yes.
That's it. And I know a lot of people are like, Tunic, it's a Game of the Year contender that won 0 games of the year.
No. It wouldn't have been on my top 20, but I did enjoy it.
It was the video game equivalent of slamming my dick into a rusty car door
Oof. Ugh.
with cute graphics. The graphics are cute. That's why it's not a. And see, that's the thing, right? I hated the fuck out of Tunic. What did I score it?
I don't remember.
I gave it a 5. Because I could still see the good in the worst game that I played of that year. There was some good things, but I love the art style. I thought the music was fantastic. The first boss is actually kind of fun. But fighting with the manual, fighting with the what the fuck do I do next? Because there is, like, everything that you wanted out of other games, this game literally doesn't have or turns against you. And now we love it for that. Like, I don't get that. That shit just infuriates me.
Yeah, I don't know why I didn't really struggle with figuring out where to go or what to do in Tunic. My struggle was that one big gauntlet fight was infuriating.
Oh, the gauntlet fight's fucking terrible.
That shit was
not fun.
No. And my gameplay loop on that one was farm, make potions, make bombs, try the gauntlet again.
Oh, I remember.
Lost all my bombs, lost all my potions, farm, make some potions, make some bombs, try again. It was awful.
I remember you really cussing the fuck out of that game, being ready to quit.
Yep.
And yeah, that's why it's like, I'm always kind of surprised to see, like, when someone finishes a game, how they look back on it.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, I remember pretty strongly when you were going through it that you weren't having a good time.
No, it was for me with the game. I mean, and maybe this is just me thinking back on it. It was the gauntlet. Like 80% of my frustration with the game was that fucking gauntlet. And that gauntlet, I was on for like 3-4 days, and I wanted to play in traffic instead of try again. It was really, really hard.
Yeah, it wasn't a fun game. I would actually be curious to see what would happen if I revisited it at some point. Would I hate it less?
I could play Hades with like 14 modifiers on it and still beat it right now. I could do it right now. But that Tunic gauntlet fight was harder.
Yes.
It's stupid. It's so insanely hard.
With your cute little fox.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. Let's dive into what I've been playing this week.
What you got?
We don't have anything nearly as exciting to talk about as the revisit on Chained Echoes. Until, I guess, I start playing it, which I was supposed to, but then I didn't have time.
It's really fucking good.
I can't wait. Gears of War 2. I did a full playthrough of co-op online with Game Pass copies. Now, let's stop and talk about this for a second. Gears of War 2, fantastic game. Not my first rodeo with Gears of War 2.
Mm-hmm.
I've beaten it many a time. However, I'm sure a lot of you folks out there with your Game Passes and your Xboxes have noticed that there is a plethora of Xbox 360 games that are on Game Pass. And a lot of them are classic games that we all know and love. However, if you try to sit down and co-op with your friend, well, you're going to run into some problems. Unless you know some things, a la the Chained Echoes reward board, that Microsoft just straight up doesn't tell you that you need to know if you're going to enjoy these classic games with your friends. So me and Mandy had sat down and tried to play this before and just felt like we got roadblocked. But I'm looking online, I'm like, man, the online support's still there. Like, this is still meant to be a game that you could play. Like, we both had Xbox 360s, both had discs. We could connect to live and play this game. So I'm like, what the fuck are we missing here? Because when we try and play it with our Series X's and the downloaded copies from Game Pass, it wouldn't work. Well, here's the trick, ladies and gentlemen. When you log into an Xbox 360 game on your Series X or your Xbox One, whatever it may be, when you go into that game, you need to push options and start at the same time on your controller. that activates the 360 Xbox button menu and pulls up the old school blades.
That's good to know.
You then have to add your friend through that menu. And they have to accept your request through that menu. Because it's basically emulating a 360 at that point. So you need to become friends on your 360, we'll call it emulation. Then you go into the game like normal, you pull up your invite list, and lo and behold, there they will be.
Cool.
And you can invite them in and play these old games. So this has opened up a huge catalog of stuff for me and Mandy to go back and co-op, which is great because so many good games live on the 360, and a lot of them are on Game Pass, including the entire Gears of War series. So last week we beat Gears of War Ultimate Edition, which is just Gears of War 1 with an extra campaign level in. This past week we did Gears of War 2, and we are knee deep in on Gears of War 3 now, also about 33% of the way through that. So many more good Xbox 360 co-op games to come. And yeah, if you've been wanting to do that, now you know how.
That's great info.
I was pretty pleased to learn that myself.
Yeah, that's thank you for sharing that one. I never would have figured that out.
You really have to dig to find that information online. So I played quite a few more hours of Harvestella. Really not getting enough time in either that game or God of War Ragnarok of late, which have now both drug on for 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Very un-Mike Dawson-like, so I just need time, God damn it. I need to take a business trip with my Switch, so I have all that free time at night just to sit and play. Speaking of 360 games on the Game Pass, fired up good old Xbox Live Arcade Bejeweled 2. Do you remember Bejeweled? I feel like the whole world forgot about Bejeweled.
I love Bejeweled.
Bejeweled is like the original, it was PopCap Games, the old web browser game that took over before there was Candy Crush and all that shit. It was all about Bejeweled and Zuma back in the day.
And Peggle. Don't forget Peggle.
Oh, Lord. So Bejeweled, they have all the Bejeweled games on Xbox Game Pass on your console. So yeah, I played I don't know, hour, 2 hours of Bejeweled 2. Total throwback to the knots. Good times.
Yeah, Bejeweled's fun.
Finally, we have to talk about, at least briefly, good old Star Citizen. We're 10 days into the release of patch 3.18, and it's still a fucking train wreck. But not as bad as one as it was before, but it is still a fucking train wreck. So, if you've been toying with the idea of hopping into that, you're probably safe to do so at this point. The main things that I would point out, though, is the more people there are on a server, the more fucking wily it gets, which isn't normally a huge problem for the game, but since 3.18, that seems to be the one lingering issue. Much better this week than last, so they're definitely improving some things on the back end.
That's good.
But it is still a fucking nightmare. So go CIG and Chris Roberts doing your thing. Next up, it's time to finally say goodbye to the Nintendo eShop for the Wii U and 3DS. Now, we've talked about this
many times.
A couple times. 2 or 3 times. But it's been a while. It has been a while.
It has.
I feel like it's been at least a year, honestly.
Yeah, I would say so, yeah.
Since we've hit this topic, but the time is now nigh. The week is upon us. This may come as a shock to you, considering, ladies and gentlemen, that we were just talking about over on Xbox, where your all of your online purchases from the dawn of online purchasing being a thing, which for those with short memories, the first console I could sit down on and buy digital content on was my Xbox 360.
Mm-hmm.
I still own everything I ever bought on my Xbox 360. It has lasted through 2 full generations now and is on to its 3rd. And, Microsoft has really done that whole thing right. So if I go back to my purchases that I made on my 360 account, I can still see all the great original Xbox Live Arcade games that I bought. Geometry Wars, Castlevania Symphony of the Night.
Me too.
Marvel versus Capcom 2. They put out a lot of great games on Xbox Live Arcade. And back then, because the hard drive space was so limited, it was only these little, what were called live arcade games that you could buy, because it's all your system could handle to download. It wasn't until later in the generation that the idea of even buying games on a digital marketplace, full games, even came to fruition. So technology has advanced quite rapidly, hasn't it? Now, that being said, on a system that came out a generation later than the Xbox 360, the Wii U and 3DS consoles had a wonderful store called the Nintendo eShop, where you could buy so many great classic games. But if you missed this news, or just were not aware of how Nintendo operates, nothing you buy on a Wii U or a 3DS comes to the Switch. When they launched the Switch, they launched with it a entirely new store platform that has nothing to do with the old eShop. So what does that mean for people that made all these digital purchases? Well, of course, it means the most horrifying thing possible, which is that all of their purchases are trapped on ancient fucking hardware that is all breaking and dying, and not to mention fucking impossible to repair by design.
Yep.
It's all your content's going to die over on those systems.
Mm-hmm.
And I learned a lot more about this than I cared to this past week. And some rather interesting points that will frankly shock you, Johnny, when I disclose them. We've had a lot to say about Nintendo and their dissipation of the Nintendo eShop, of course, their handling or mishandling of no migration of purchases to their new platform in the Switch. Did you have any final words for Nintendo as we come to a close on this topic?
I mean, in the console world, I would argue that Xbox has been the absolute best at backwards compatibility and supporting their old stuff and supporting your old purchases. Sony's close behind them, but I've griped many times about how the PlayStation 3 games, I have to stream them. I can't download them and have them on the hard drive. Nintendo has never had a really great history of backwards compatibility, except for the Wii into the Wii U. Is that correct? That's the only generation I can think of where the Wii into the Wii U is the only one that had any backwards compatibility. And, you know, you and I, and I'm sure many of our listeners, when the Wii U came out, went, shit, Legend of Zelda, $5? Done. Oh, Mario 64? Classic. Timeless classic. $20? Done. I bought a ton of games on the Wii U. Anytime they had a sale, I was getting in trouble. I was buying Nintendo games. I was buying Super Nintendo games. I mean, I got Earthbound on it. I mean, I was buying all these classics. Because the way that digital stuff has been dealt with, and the way it was dealt with 360 was, you buy it, it's yours. You have it. As long as Xbox is a thing, this is going to be over there on the shelf for you because you gave us your money. Thank you. You know, when I bought a DVD 12 years ago and scanned the barcode on Voodoo.com and now own the digital version for $2, I've now been able to go back and watch that digital version whenever I want. And I feel safe in that purchase, right? A video game that I bought on Steam 15 years ago, I feel safe in that purchase. Because basically until Steam dies, or until when digital movie codes die, maybe then I can rant about it. But so far, there hasn't really been a lot of that. And most of the things that have folded, like for example, Fandango movies, when they folded, they just carried your titles over to a different service, and they let you know that they were doing that. You didn't really lose anything. Nintendo just went, here's our new console, buy everything again. Because fuck you, that's why.
And not to boot. Oh, and you can't even buy everything again. Some games are just going to die here.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. You want to play Super Nintendo games? Cool, pay our subscription.
And get a curated fucking whack-ass collection.
I don't understand. I mean, I apologize for anybody that heard episode 38 or whatever it was when I made this rant before, but I don't understand why Nintendo likes printing money in every other facet, in merchandising, in licensing, in, you know, Super Mario lunchboxes and T-shirts and all that shit.
Movies starring Chris Pratt.
Movies starring Chris Pratt. If they just tomorrow said all first-party Nintendo titles are now available for sale on the Nintendo eShop, and we will be ensuring that these are backwards compatible going forward into the new consoles. Here's Wind Waker for $20. Here's whatever, Legend of Zelda 2 for $5. They would print money immediately. At no cost to them at all. They've already got a really nice emulator on the Switch. I mean, if you've played any of those emulated titles, they run really well. They look great. It's a good port. It's a good emulator. The tech is there, but they just don't want to print money. And then now, for the people that spent all that money on all these titles on Wii U, they're just cementing the middle finger that we were dealt, and it sucks.
In interesting news, The Completionist, popular YouTube channel, released a video this past week chronicling the journey of buying every single item on the Wii U and Nintendo 3DS eShops, totaling over $22,000 in purchases. What was interesting about this is I would imagine that takes a lot of work to sit and click buy on all this shit. What I didn't expect was the amount of bullshit that you have to go through in order to do this. So to make all of these purchases, they went out and bought $23,000 worth of eShop gift cards from retailers.
Oh my God.
Which alone had its own headaches of retailers being skeptical of people coming in and buying all these gift cards. But then when they got to the eShop with the gift cards, you can only load $250 worth of gift cards onto your account at a single time.
Oh my God.
And then there is no cap to how many titles that you can purchase, which is good. But there is a cap to how many icons can be on your screen. And when you exceed that number of icons, you cannot download anything else regardless of your hard drive space available.
Wow, that's a massive software limitation. Holy shit.
So in order to do this, they had to keep loading cards in $250 increments to $23,000. And then every time they hit the icon limit, they had to dump everything to an SD card, remove it, and start over. And so for anyone thinking, oh, I've got 22 grand to burn, I better get on this before the shops close up. You literally don't have time. By the time you hear these words on this podcast, you do not have time. Even if you wanted to invest every second of your existence between now and the 27th, there's literally not enough time for you to make these purchases. Here's the rub, I guess. Here's what's cool. It took them almost a year to do this, to complete this project. But they donated all of the purchases, all the cards that they made. They donated them all to the video game preservation, I think museum, I think it was called. But anyway, so basically, so there is at least some copy of all of this shit somewhere.
Well, that's good.
So you can take solace in knowing that not everything is technically lost forever. It has been preserved in a place. Who knows what the fuck you'll be able to do with it? I mean, hopefully there's emulation that can read the SD card plugged into a computer. I'm sure that's a thing.
I would assume so, yeah.
Because Wii U hardware is dying. And as someone who has attempted repairing Wii U's, I've had some success. They're a nightmare to work on. It almost feels like they were designed to be a nightmare to work on. Not only that, but if you need to regain access to your old eShop account, that process with Nintendo can take like a week to 2 weeks. Their security is way over the top and very difficult to get through, even when you're the person talking to someone on the other end. I had bought a Wii U that someone had forgotten to log out of, and after 2 weeks of back and forth with Nintendo, they told me they could not help me log this person out. That would be a violation of that person's security. So I actually had to download a hack to run on the system in order to remove it.
To flash it or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. So good luck, ladies and gentlemen. The Wii U and 3DS eShop, rest in peace. And in some ways, it's maybe slightly positive that it puts a period on a generation of Nintendo that I'm ready to move past. 3DS was great. Wii U is a flaming pile of dog shit, though. So,
well, and I'm not the only one with this opinion. I firmly think that Wii U into Switch is going to be the last generation that Nintendo didn't try to do what... I mean, everyone else is doing it. Everyone else is... Here's the PlayStation 5. You can go buy your PS4 game, put it in. It's already got an upgrade. Bing, bang, boom. It's done deal. Everyone's doing that. And if Nintendo doesn't do that, they're really going to regret it. So the smartest thing for them to do, and we've been saying it for a year and a half, 2 years now, is they need to announce a Switch 2, or like you said, just call it the Super Switch.
Obvious, awesome name.
Nintendo fucking Super Switch, man. I'd be sold. Give it to me with the gray, with the purple buttons. Take my money. I'm in. Make it the Super Switch. Make it backwards compatible. And make it so that all of the shit that you've already bought on your Switch is right there.
Actually, that reminds me. There was one point I wanted to swing back on. That Nintendo actually has been one of the better companies when it comes to backwards compatibility. The Wii, the original Wii, the RV L-001, whatever, the first model of it, would accept GameCube discs.
That's true.
And the Wii U obviously runs all Wii discs. And then it stops. But at least when others were not doing it, Nintendo was making a conscious effort. And your old Wiis even have GameCube plugs on them, so you can use your GameCube controllers on your Wii.
Yeah, that's true.
Right. It's time.
Good riddance, Nintendo eShop on the Wii
Time
U.
to never talk about that ever again.
Mm-hmm.
Next, this ironically pertains more to gaming in the past decade than one would think, honestly. But famed actor and video game voice actor Lance Reddick passed away really unexpectedly this past week at the age of 60 from natural causes. Kind of wild that, you know, with him having so many awesome things going on, that just out of the blue, his number got called and no more Lance Reddick. So,
yeah.
I just wanted to touch on that. He's, of course, the voice actor for Commander Zavala from Destiny.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably where he's been heard the most, repeating the same lines over and over as you go into the same strike for 2,000 runs. But more importantly, to me at least, he was Silence in the Horizon series, where Silence is basically Lance Reddick. It's Lance Reddick.
Yeah,
and that character was really him. So I'm kind of now curious.
Me too.
You know, I don't think Horizon 3 is going to have him because it's so far out. And that's going to be a doozy. But, you know, with where the world is now, you know, with A, it being a computer-generated model, and B, AI fucking voice modeling, you know, it'll probably be very much in the vein of Lance Reddick when we finally get it, which will be cool. But, yeah, unfortunately, Lance has moved on. And the new... For those that are more into movies, most recently, I think you all would know him from the John Wick series.
Mm-hmm. He's the concierge.
Also on Netflix, most recently in the Resident Evil TV show,
which he was great in.
He was that show because the show fucking sucked.
Agreed. He was great in it.
He was fantastic.
Yep. Did you see the on Reddit that somebody had pulled up his gaming profile from Destiny 2, and he was playing Destiny 2 the night that he passed away.
Oh, wow.
So he was literally playing Destiny 2. They looked at his account, and he'd rolled credits on the Lightfall.
Yeah, the new content.
So he rolled credits on Lightfall and logged off, and that was that.
I wonder if they ever said, I mean, they've just said natural causes. I'm assuming this is probably heart failure.
Probably.
Usually is the thing that'll just out of the blue catch someone at an age like that. So,
yeah.
Sad to hear of the passing of Lance Reddick. Actually, really sad. He's pretty, one of my favorite voices in the industry. So,
such an iconic voice. Just such an iconic
sci-fi nerds will know him from Firefly. Yeah, sad to lose Lance Reddick. So, definitely wanted to give him a moment here on the podcast. Johnny, this brings us to the final segment of the week. That segment is, of course, One Up. What is your One Up this week, sir?
Yeah, baby. My one up is I had my first foray into ChatGPT. So getting ready for this music festival, I'm starting to bring out old songs that I never finished. I'm like, I had that one really good verse that I liked, but I don't really know where to go with it. And I'm sitting there and I'm messing with it, and I got the groove, I got the words, the verses sounded good, and I'm like, I need like a pre-chorus, but I don't know where to go. Every chord I go to feels wrong. Everything's wrong. And I don't know what came over me, but I just randomly went to ChatGPT and went, I've got a song with this chord progression, sort of an upbeat acoustic rock song, and I'm just trying to figure out what chords would resolve that progression as a pre-chorus to take me into a chorus. And you could do this and this, or you could do this into that, or you could do this into that. Oh shit, B minor. Yeah. Okay. All right. Cool. And that was it. And then I was like, the creative juices were flowing again, and didn't need ChatGPT. It just got me going. But then, so now that I've sort of messed with ChatGPT,
now ChatGPT gets a rating credit.
The next little idea I had was, can I teach ChatGPT Marvel Snap? So I started going through the rules of Marvel Snap, how many cards you can have, how many turns there are, what's the objective of the game, what ongoing abilities are and how they work, and what on-reveal abilities are and how those work, and what passive abilities are and how those work. And then I just started inputting data. So I basically had explained to ChatGPT, this is the way that I'm going to input the data. And I had a list of the Marvel Snap cards on one tab, and I had ChatGPT on another. So I was able to just copy a card, paste it into ChatGPT, and it would say, okay, I understand. Ant-Man is a 1-cost, 1-power card with an ongoing ability that if the location is full on the player's side, he gains 3 power. And I'm like, okay, cool. He understands how I'm inputting the data. So then I just started dumping cards. Dumped this, dumped that, dumped this, dumped that. After I'd put about 30, 40 cards in, I said, now that I've given you a bunch of cards, could you tell me some synergies that you're noticing with some of these cards? And he says, yes. Playing Iron Fist before Vulture, as long as Vulture is not played on the left lane, would be a very high value play on turn 3. And I'm like, holy shit, Marvel Snap gets it. Like, I taught this AI how to play Marvel Snap. Like, this shit's gonna work. I gotta put all these cards in and see if it could make some fucking crazy deck off the top of its dome that nobody's thought of. So I just keep putting in cards and putting in cards and putting in cards. And eventually, the responses originally that I was getting is like, for example, I remember one that I put in Maximus, which Maximus is a 3-cost, 7-power, but his on-reveal ability lets your enemy player deal 2 cards to their hand. And when I put that information in, ChatGPT commented, wow, that's a strong card. That's the highest value 3-cost that we've seen yet. The one thing you'd need to be aware of, though, is that could give you a disadvantage depending on what cards the enemy player is hoping to get. So it's a risk-reward card, but very strong indeed. And I'm like, holy shit, like, it's like getting all this. I eventually get to a point, I get to like, I think it was M in the pool 3 of cards. I get to M, and I start putting in card by card by card, and it's going, okay, got it. Okay, got it. Okay, got it. And it's not commenting on anything. And then I said, okay, with the cards that I've given you, build me a strong deck of 12 cards. And it goes, sure, no problem. It gives me 12 cards, and all of them started with either M or N. And I was like, oh, man, like the cache got reset. It must have forgot what we were talking about. So I said, what can you tell me about Marvel Snap? It had no fucking idea. It had forgotten the rules of the game. It had forgotten how everything works. So, like, I was so close, bro. I was so close. I had gotten to the point where it understood. Like, I even taught it like how the locations are revealed 1, 2, 3, and like when I would give it a card that it didn't understand, it would ask. Like, I'd be like, the hood is a -2 power cost. On reveal, adds a demon to your hand. And he goes, what's a demon? I don't know what a demon is. Demon is a 1-cost, 6 power with no ability. Cannot be added to your deck when you're building a deck. Can only be added to your deck when you play the hood. Okay, I got it. I understand. And, like, I sat and fucking taught it all these cards, and it was working. And then at some point, it just went, I don't fucking care anymore. I don't care anymore. I'm done.
That or it trolled you.
Maybe.
You went, hey, wait a second. Gonna troll this guy. Act like I don't know what
If
the
I
fuck
could,
he's
if
talking
I,
about.
if I act confused, he'll stop fucking pasting this shit in here. But no, I mean, I'm glad that I did it, even though it ended up being wasted time, just so I have a better understanding of how ChatGPT works and how to talk to it. And you do have to be really specific, and when you are trying to get a response out of it, you have to be you have to be sure that it understands what you want.
Right.
So it's really important to say, "Do you understand?" at the end of your statement. Like, I need this. Do you understand? And it will sum up sort of what you've been describing to it, and you're like, yes, you do understand. And there would be some cards that are more complicated I'd put in, and I'd be like, do you understand? And it'd go through it, and I'd be like, no, that's not the way that it works. Here's how discards work. Oh, okay, I understand. And then I would give it examples. Like, so for example, if I played Iron Man, and then the following turn I played Mystique, what's going to happen? And it said, as long as the on-reveal is not prevented by a location or a Cosmo, Mystique is going to gain the ongoing ability of Iron Man and double that location's power. I was like, fucking hell, it understands. So I was close. I got there. I almost got there.
In much more exciting news than ChatGPT,
What you got?
I present to you a product that, for a bass player, is really good. And I don't often give product endorsement or pitch one-ups. But this one's actually pretty important. So I play bass with both my fingers and with a pick. I appreciate both sounds. But if I have a preference, I'm playing with my fingers. Problem. For those that have never touched a guitar or bass guitar, you have no idea what this problem is. But the problem is that I play really fucking hard, and you get blisters really easily on your fingers from doing that because you're plucking with great redundancy literal metal wound wire is what bass strings are. So you tear up your fingers and cut them and blister them very easily. Now, usually I have a ritual of bursting them on the edges, doing an ice water soak for like 20 minutes, and then resting overnight and coming back, and then they're built up and strong the next day. But with how regularly I'm having to go to bat right now working on this musical, we're talking 4 hours a night, every night. And then I've got 3 shows in a row right on the back end of it. Even my best care is being challenged right now. So I was like, sir, I got to do something. I'm like, I gotta figure out something here because I'm fucking tired of this. I've never been one to do the super glue trick because. Especially not when you have already cut up fingers. Super glue is incredibly toxic. Don't go rubbing that shit on yourself on purpose, especially not on areas where you've been cut. That is a quick trip to the Darwin Awards. But I did find something interesting in looking for alternatives to it that you can buy for $10. It's called Rock Tips. Rock Tips is the name of the product. And basically what Rock Tips is, you get a little vial. It's got a paintbrush in it, kind of like a nail painting set. Except instead of your nails, you pull out the thing and cover your fingertips in it, wait 60 seconds, and guess what? You've got fucking iron fingers. And what's great about it is... the part where you might go, well, that's not going to work because now I can't feel anything. No, you feel just like normal. Really, it's fucking weird.
Wow, that's bizarre. I'm looking at it on Amazon. That's crazy. I've never heard of such a thing. Yeah, no, and it kind of resembles super glue and how it looks and everything. But yeah, put it on, wait 60 seconds, good to go. And I pounded on my fingers like they were full strength for 4 hours and didn't even put a dent in them.
So this is going
Wow.
to live in my bass gig bag forever now.
Yeah,
This
that's
stuff's
cool.
fucking awesome. So kind of a weird thing. Probably 99% of you listening are not bass players and do not care. But if you need callousing, I guess, instantly for anything, this shit's wonderful. Really cool. Kind of interesting.
That's I've never heard of it.
Yeah, I put it on. I'm like, how is this going to feel? And so I put it on and kind of pressed on it, a bit just to kind of crack and get any air pockets out. And then grab the bass and I'm like, oh, it just feels like normal. It just doesn't feel like I want to hang myself with the bass string afterwards from my fingers hurting.
Right,
so
I'm
bad.
not turning my fingers into hamburger.
Yeah, exactly. So that's
Wow,
going to live in
that's cool.
my case forever from now on. It's absolutely wonderful. So
It's like the first time I discovered vocal ease.
yeah,
Like as a singer, that stuff is just it's magic. It's pure fucking magic. I don't know what's in it, but
I'm like,
holy
why
hell.
don't they have this stuff at every music store? Why isn't this something that everyone's onto? It makes
Yeah.
no sense. Because, and I'm normally of the school of work for your calluses. But the thing is even if you do the best job preparing them, as a bass player, you're constantly grinding. Eventually, they're going to give out. It's too high contact that you can't ever have healthy fingers all the time as a bass player. So finally, a fucking decent solution other than, having to, because normally what I'll do is like, I'll play until my fingers are fucking pulp and then switch to a pick. But that just sounds wrong for so many things, especially in Jesus Christ Superstar, which is a lot of those 70s kind of walking bass lines. That shit don't sound right with a pick at all.
Hell no.
So, yeah. Rock tips. Who fucking knew? I've been playing for, God, almost 20 years and never heard of the shit until this past week. And it's fantastic. So,
Yeah, it's a revelation to me. I'd never heard of
there
it.
you have it. I was reading online, like a lot of guitar players use it on their left hands. When you've been strangling an acoustic guitar for 4 hours and you get those painful divots in your fingers.
That was the thought I had is, man, I got to try this when next time I got like a
It
4-hour
prevents
gig.
that, yeah. I would be,
Yeah, it might be
a
nice.
little more auspicious about using it on my left hand than my right. Because as you're playing, you are fucking grinding the shit off. And I don't know that I want that on a wooden fingerboard. Over top, a high lacquer paint,
Who cares?
I can just wash it off. But I don't know that I want glue residue where I'm pushing into contact on my fingerboard that's wood. So I might shy away from suggesting that. But I think
I gig with a $300 piece of shit, so it's fine.
I think for right hand it's absolutely fantastic though. So that wraps up this week's episode. I'm fucking so tired.
Go to bed.
Oh, it's gonna be just like this again next week too. I'll be on the back end of the first 3 performances. So, oh man, I'll make it. I'm gonna make it. Next week,
You got this.
we will be back again with another great episode of the Power Gamer Podcast. Until that time, I'm Mike Dawson.
And I'm Johnny Paulus.
Tune in next time. Take care.
Catch you on the flip flop.
Tunic still sucks. Oh yeah.